In the past, I have subjected people to rating characters from strategy games that they have yet to play before. 1, to test their assessment, and 2, to get a good laugh and a good kick out of it. But now the tables have been turned on me. Someone from the Wargroove community has invited me to start rating characters from Wargroove, a game that I have never played before. This is a multi-part series, so feel free to keep up if you'd like to, and please enjoy the video. Man, I don't feel confident in this one, but I think I'm gonna put Rhomb in C tier.
Alright then.
Yeah, and I think that
should be everybody.
Should be everybody.
Yeah, right. Covered everybody. Yeah,
right.
You know.
What? This is Sigrid? What?
Yeah.
Like, huh? What?
I agree with that ranking.
What? What's wrong with Sigrid? Okay. I need to calm down. What's that? What else is here? Oh,
that's the old podcast tier list. This is done in the middle of the tournament.
Middle of the tournament? Oh, okay. Sigrid? What the hell happened to Sigrid?
There was 3 changes that kind of mattered. Caesar got moved down, Wulfar got moved up, Tenri got moved up. Those are, I would say, the important ones.
Okay. And what's this one?
This is mine.
This is your tier list? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, Wulfar.
For the most part, it's pretty similar.
Okay, so. Wulfar is pretty high up there, and we're looking at...
this is Psychoia's. Psychoia's the previous champion and second place in tournament.
Okay, wow, alright. So, I'll just keep it on Mastro's. Well, which one should we keep on?
Mine also has the same number of tiers.
So it's
you can also briefly like touch on the other tier lists.
Yeah, we can. But yeah, let's all right, let's go look at my tier list. All right, so let's just go in order. Mercival, right?
I mean, yeah, we know where he's at.
We know where he's at
in terms of order.
In our hearts, not in the tier list. Rhomb, right?
Yeah.
Rhomb has been like stalwart, C tier. Oh, so he's like bottom tier then, right?
Yeah, he's bottom tier.
Okay.
He's very close to breaking into B, but not quite.
What's his problem?
Rhomb's problem, I think we touched on this when you're talking about it. He's only 1 attack. His groove is not super impactful for a slow. Oh, did I mention it was slow? I might have to mention that.
And, I think I saw it, but
yeah.
So
it's just not very impactful to 150 commander damage, which is decent. It actually doesn't one-shot any of like the heavy units. It one-shots like all the infantry, but that's it. I would say the main thing Rhomb has going for him is T2 Assassinating Commander, because even though it only gets a plus 10% damage boost, that's a 50% strength range attack. Most range attacks in Wargroove don't do good damage to Commander, like Archer does 10. So range damage is very terrifying, because that means you only, like, sometimes even just one side to kill with a suicide. Suicides are important in, a bit more important in Wargroove as well, because, well, yeah, I think in Advanced Wars you can definitely suicide to get, like, important kills in a wall break.
Yeah.
And more importantly, in Wargroove, if you get a wall break and that leads to a kill on a commander, you don't need to worry about the fact that you lost units doing it.
Exactly. The game's gonna end right there. Yeah. If you've done it right, of course.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's the movement's very nice, honestly. I think that prevents him from... It gives him a lot of opportunities to actually pop groove. Characters with short range tend to struggle because it's really easy to prevent them from getting the grooves off. Rhomb doesn't have that problem. Problem is it doesn't do enough. It doesn't have enough impact.
Okay.
And has a very low ceiling for how much it can do. And yeah, like I was saying, it kind of just needs a wall break. And that's... I mean, yeah, it's fine. At the very least, it's hard to deny his plays, and that makes him a bit better than some of the other characters in C tier.
Okay. Alright. So, Ragna. Let's see. We have Ragna in Novice.
Mostly in
Ragna
C tier.
C and C. So I got Ragna right then, right?
Yeah. What you're saying about being kind of unsafe to jump in as Ragna is pretty true. Yeah, the fact that she has to go adjacent to whatever she wants to hit is really scary. especially after you develop board states where you can actually kill commander. Against commander, you typically need 2 strong hits and 1 weak hit to kill them.
Okay.
So yeah, sometimes you can defend Ragna. It's not impossible. It's just also kind of hard.
It requires a setup.
Yeah. One of the nice things is she's one of the fastest commanders in the game at medium. I would say like medium slow or slow medium is kind of the norm.
The average.
So she can kind of get to her groove a bit faster, and she tends to find at least one opportunity to groove before things get dangerous.
Okay.
Problem is afterwards it's really hard to find good value out of a groove without just like dying immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
The push is nice. It just adds like 20 damage to her groove, which does meet some wall breaks on some units. Like Harpy, for example, just gets one shot by groove if you push it into something that does damage to it.
Okay.
So other small stuff like that.
All right.
Unfortunately, one of the other small things is that she's the only commander that can't push her own units for some reason, despite the fact that I feel that it's very in flavor for her.
Really?
It's probably mainly for balance reasons.
Okay.
But yeah, she can't push her own units, which actually would be very helpful for like establishing lethals because it opens new sides.
Yeah, it does. Definitely.
All right.
But yeah. So I got Ragna right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got Mercival right. I got Rhomb right. I got Ragna right.
One thing I want to touch on with Mercival real quick. Funny thing about him, he is in competitive. He is actually undefeated in non-mirror matches.
That makes sense. That makes sense because it's his margin is so small that it's just really high. That makes a lot of sense to me.
He is only. I did phrase that right. He is not lost except to himself in competitive.
Yeah, you heard of ever heard of Grim Guy?
Yes, I have heard of Grim Guy.
Yes, it's the same energy.
I gotta give the handicap to myself.
that was the reason. That's the reason I was laughing so hard. I completely forgot to mention. He just reminds me of Grim. It's like it's like really bad, but at the same time, a lot of people like him.
Very funny to beat.
Very funny to play with. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So up next, Valder, right?
Yeah.
So Valder was put in Stalwart. Valder's been put in B.
I would honestly, he's like he's basically the lowest B. He's very close to bordering C.
Okay.
So I honestly would kind of give this to you.
Okay. So I'm close, but I'm not. It's not right.
I mean, like he's basically like he is on the edge, like directly on the edge of B and C.
So what puts him? What puts him in B?
Kind of, he can get what keeps him out of C is, I would say, consistent value from generating swords is nice.
Okay.
The unit count is always nice. Swords are actually decent combat units in this game.
It's like, so it's just like unit count,
Yeah.
It actually reminds me of Sensei a little bit, but Sensei
on a less insane
scale because like it's only just 1 or 2. Like if there was ever an Advanced Wars map where there was only like 2 properties, you're not gonna pick Sensei probably.
Yeah, that's like. Oh yes, did you remember to set the unit cap, old chap?
Is there a unit cap in Wargroove?
I think on editor there's a limit, but I don't actually know if there's a limit on actual playing.
Okay.
To be fair, we actually basically never hit that, honestly.
That's fair.
Because it's like several hundred, I think, for like the total map limit.
Alright. So it's nice, but it's not game breaking.
So actually something hilarious. Valder used to be S tier.
Really?
Before he got hit by a very big nerf. So what the nerf was his tier 2 was previously ×2 damage on his swords instead of ×1.5.
Okay.
This is important because this meant your swords one-shot other swords without crit. So you basically just gobbled up your opponent's entire front line for free. And they just lose like 10 plus units in a single attack. It's also not even that slow at 250.
Oh, it's just too much.
Yeah. It's just really silly, just like murdering all your opponent's infantry. Also the funny thing where old T2, if Valder was by himself, he could solo a stronghold in a single turn with T2.
Wow.
It's kind of funny. Because the swords gets the ×2 damage and the ×1.5 crit damage. So they do like 60 damage each to stronghold.
That's insane.
so they just nuke it. It's kind of funny. Immediately, you probably don't get caught off guard by that anymore after the first time you get hit by that, but it is funny.
Do you think they did too much?
Yes.
Like,
it's also a very weird thing of.
You think they have an in between somewhere?
I think the in between is buffing his tier 1 to be more in line with his Wargroove 1 identity. In Wargroove 1, Valder had the identity of having the fastest groove in the game at very fast.
Okay.
In that game, that meant he just had to get a single kill and he got groove.
It's just like +1 infantry every turn.
Yeah. So unfortunately, in Wargroove 1, only Commander could generate groove, so he would generate a soldier like every other turn if he was fully active.
Okay.
So like that was very potent unit count. Now it's 100, and that makes it way less potent. At 100, you're just generating not enough value compared to the rest of the commanders, even if it's like very consistent. It's just not fast enough.
Okay. All right. So he used to be great, but now he's just at the close to the bottom, like just hanging off the edge of B tier.
Yeah.
All right. So up next we have Lytra. Lytra is an adept, a B. Yeah.
Lytra's high B.
High B. Okay. Well, none of this is in order, so
yeah.
So I got Lytra. So I got Lytra then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lytra is decently solid. The main thing holding her back is her range limit.
Yeah, that was the thing that I kind of had in mind. It's like I don't think 2 range is enough for an ability like this.
So the interesting thing about her is I think she actually has a lot going for her out of the 1 range commanders. And a lot of people also kind of think that. Her 1 range, her tier 1 is useful for bullying early, because if you stand Lytra next to something like a mountain or a building, knights, like heavy units, just can't touch you, because you just groove them on top of the insta-kill tile.
Ah, right.
And you just constantly, you have to be very wary that your units will get insta-killed, and that makes her have a bunch of bullying presence early, which is very nice.
Okay,
and then her T2, her T2, if you can force a brawly board state where she can get close, this thing can decimate armies, because this is a 250 groove that can hit like something like maybe like 6-7 enemy units and basically take them out of the fight for that turn, which, I mean, if you're brawling, they're probably going to be dying in like the next turn or two.
Yes.
Like taking away their turn is really huge.
Yes. You can like, I guess in a way, like ignore them for that 1 turn and like have your other units focus on everything else, unless you don't want the counterattack.
Well, they don't counterattack because they're dizzied.
Yeah, but if the next turn,
like
on the following turn, they can counterattack. But if you're like gonna kill them or you're okay with that counterattack, then you could just go, I passed. You know, I just worry about other things.
There's some funny things with moving your own units around to like groove forward, like maybe you're like witch to assassinate the opposing dragon.
Dude,
or like
+1 range, +1 movement, or like getting like an
it's
additional.
+2 because you're rotating it around her to the other side.
Yeah, but even with like adder, +1 movement is pretty good. So just like positioning is also really important in like a game like Advance Wars, and I assume Wargroove as well.
Wargroove. Yeah, it's also because this can also help set stuff like crits, because like remember, Knight has to have an exact amount of movement. Like it can force Knight crits, stuff like that.
Oh yeah, right. You can move a knight backwards, and then you can have it move. Oh, that's actually
tier 1 is also kind of funny for commander lethal, because you can hit commander on 2 sides, groove the units away from commander, then get 2 sides again.
Oh right, you can open up spots to like get more hits.
On your own units to rotate away.
That's why like sacrifice plays happen anyways, because they die, you get that space to do another attack. Yeah, all right, so...
Lytra just has a lot of stuff she can actually do. She's very held back by her range, though, which is why she's only stuck in B.
Yeah.
There's not really any good Lytra player, and people feel like she could get pushed up higher with more testing and play.
Yeah, I feel like Lytra just has huge potential, but it's just
she has a very high ceiling, but also a low floor due to being a 1-range commander.
Yeah.
So, like, she needs a very good pilot, and right now we don't exactly have that. She's still fine.
Okay. I think I know.
Not like AOS, they're good.
I think I know who I might try to play then. It's so funny because we both see the potential, but it's just no one's like there to like pilot it or.
Yeah.
Or maybe everyone knows how to play around her. Who knows? Or him.
It also gets to constantly hear a Little Soldier, one of my... I like a lot of the Fari songs in this game.
Okay. Yeah.
Unfortunately, none of them were playing, but I like all of them.
I see.
Anyways.
All right, and Nadia. Oh, pitiful imbecile.
She is the worst character in the game.
What? Okay. Was she the one that I said I didn't feel confident about, or was it Rhomb? Or it was one of those.
It was. I think they said for both of them.
For both of them, yeah. Probably. I can look back at the footage, but Nadia. I think I could see the problem too. It's just random and it's just annoying. But just because something's annoying doesn't mean it's good.
Personally, I don't think the random is the biggest deal with Nadia. I think you can engineer situations where you can force it to hit the correct targets.
No. What I mean is like dousing doesn't feel like a very impactful thing to make your opponent waste.
Douse is basically just free.
It's very free. So
yeah, if it was the unit itself that had the douse, I think it would be a bit more impactful. But since it can be any other unit, like the units that aren't in range to do combat for the turn, or even maybe your transports hilariously could douse. And like, all right, cool. I just lost 5 useless turns.
Yeah.
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 Nadia
just annoying, Nadia's but
there was a balance mod that was made recently that makes it so Nadia can choose what she targets.
Does that help at all?
I have not played her enough. At the same time, I sincerely doubt it helps her because I would say her problem isn't necessarily a randomness, even though it hurts. It is the fact that her rates are pretty bad. Like 50% on her tier 1 on 3 targets. That is on the same rate as Rhomb at 150. And it is across 3 different targets, which can be helpful. Maybe this helps you pick up like 3 sword kills if they aren't being covered. But that's just like not that impactful, even at like 5 range, so you can like consistently get plays with it.
Okay.
It doesn't contribute enough damage. Tier 2 is at least a bit better. Like 75% on 5 targets is like decent. At the same time, I think and a bunch of other people feel like the 300, that is not impactful enough. That is too slow. This also means she's like doing groove after a bunch of the other like commanders with like similar like impacts in a fight.
Okay.
Yeah, all her rates are pretty bad. That's why she struggles.
Yeah. What if you took away the ability that other units can douse the fire?
I also think that doesn't help. Part of the problem is you want to use this. Like, a lot of grooves you don't want to throw out for just damage because healing is strong in this game.
Okay.
You want to throw it out to get kills, and that means you don't get the burn damage.
So she's a little slow.
It's contradictory to what you want to do with the groove. Like, the burn is wasted even if it was only dazzled by the same unit. You might get 1 or 2 more burn. You might actually see a burn tick happen in a game now. I don't think I've actually ever seen a burn tick happen in the actual competitive game.
Oh my gosh. That makes sense then. That makes sense.
Yeah.
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 All right. So Ryota, I put him in B. There's an Adept, there's a B as well, another B.
Yeah.
So I'm right.
He's like mid B tier.
Okay.
Really solid.
All right. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, is it like the same thing that I mentioned? It's like it's gonna be really hard to like or there's not many situations where you could get like full value off of his groove.
Sometimes you kind of struggle, yeah, because you need to, in later situations in the late game, you need to groove back to your army, which wastes a couple tiles.
Okay.
And also, if you start building up units, there's a possibility that he has to go into way too deep to actually, like, if say you have a row stacked of like 4 units back to back, he needs to groove 5 in, 1 and then he just can't groove back out. Because, yeah, and that makes it very dangerous for him. So it's sometimes kind of hard for him to get max value out of T2. He's still, especially in mid and early game, he can definitely hit a lot of units. And 50 and 25 can hit a decent amount of breakpoints. For tier 1, it can be helpful to pick off early swords and get a tempo advantage off that. Because, like, notably, this moves him around a lot, and this can put you in place to get a sword crit after. So, like, you deal 25% groove damage to a sword, then you follow up with a sword crit to kill it. 25% also makes your knights one-shot opposing swords.
Oh,
because they take 95 base. So, like, there's small benchmarks like that. Also, like, mage barely does not kill a spear with crit, stuff like that does, like, 97 or something. There's, like, small things like that where, like, Real Groove does actually grant you kills, even on tier 1. So like, it's definitely helpful.
Okay.
And the speed is also very noticeable. Like 75, 175, that's spammable
Yeah.
on either end. It's like it's solid. It just doesn't scale super well, I would say. And he has a problem same with the Ragna of being vulnerable if he stays too close after groove, except he at least has the option of moving away after it.
Okay.
Also, like the -1 movement, it sometimes matters. It actually allows you to get some unique plays of like maybe like a unit is only covering another by like 1 tile, stuff like that.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, so it can be used for plays like that as well. But I would say like it does also hurt in the middle of fights as well. But like, if you're like causing a brawl and like going in on like the turn you use T2, they're probably still in range. It still is helpful though. There are a bunch of situations where the -1 movement hurts the opponent a lot.
Okay. All right. So I am 7 on 7 for names. Okay. Nuru?
Yep.
Oh, okay. All right, Nuru.
All right.
Let's see here. Adept. Why do I have that on that one? That one's a little confusing. B tier. Okay. B tier. Yes. Triple B tier. Let's go.
All right. Yeah.
I'll just keep it on this one.
Yeah. Nuru is bottom of B tier.
Okay.
She's also in similar. Actually, she's kind of similar to Valder in that people think she's possibly in C tier.
I feel like she's. I did make that comparison, but I feel like she's like slightly better Valder.
Yeah, I personally. Some people like either of them better because Valder is 100 charge where Nuru is 200. It's like Valder gets unit count while Nuru has more unit quality, but she also has to pay for the unit. So the thing is like Nuru's only main problem is she's too slow. 200 is a lot for what is effectively just a single unit snipe. It is still good. She's very good at sniping air, and on maps where rifles are available, you can typically snipe at least 1 infantry with it.
Just one.
Something also about rifles is they tend to be a bit restricted on a lot of maps, either being like only buildable once, and typically in their hideout is in a more out of place area, so it's hard to reinforce with. Nuru kind of skips that by allowing the summon straight to the front line, which helps it a bit. This is Sequoia actually used Nuru in a match on what I would say is a map that's kind of perfect for her.
Okay.
It's a map that's heavy air focus, so she can snipe all the air units.
Oh, nice.
As well as there's a hideout that's in the literal corner of the map behind like 4 mountains. So like yes, the rifle would take like 5 turns to get the front line, while Nuru just summons immediately to front.
Yeah.
And that's a perfect map for her, and I still don't think she breaks A tier even with that.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's insane, but I think it's just like a lot of potential, a lot of things that she can do that not many other people can.
Yeah. She's very good at like sniping a lot of different units, and that pressure you need to make sure you're like. Yeah, you need to play very sharp. This is a commander you need to play kind of sharp against because there's a lot of range on her. Because like effectively you have a 10 range mage if you have groove. Because like move 4, summon 1 tile away, and then 5. Yeah. So, like you need to be playing kind of sharp to make sure you don't get like one of your important units sniped.
Yeah.
But other than that, she doesn't scale well into big fights, and she's just kind of slow. Also, tier 2 is not relevant.
Okay. It felt kind of slow when it comes to the money. Plus, it was only a 25. Advance was like insane with like the 50.
You do get the the unit is free, which means you probably save like 650 on like a rifle or like 400 on the mage. But it's not enough. Even if you like save for like 2 turns, like maybe it gets you like an additional golem or something like that in value, not including the rifle itself, which is nice. Problem is, if you're holding on to groove that long, you possibly have just lost from tempo loss.
Probably.
So it's at the very least, it's a failsafe in case the opponent keeps respecting your groove too much, and then you just pop it later for value, and you got free value off of the threat of groove. So there's a failsafe, but you basically never pop T2.
Gotcha. All right. Crap, I forgot her name. She was Mercia. I was close to figuring it out. I was trying to guess Mercia. C tier. Ouch.
Yeah, she's like middle of C tier. Some people think she's lower, but like she's confidently C tier.
So
Um,
is like the higher damage just really that impactful? Because I know with Andy in Advanced Wars, if you have dead units, then you can't use that ability.
yeah. It's also impactful. Another thing I was trying to show you is because of how reinforcing works. Healing is stronger in this game.
Yeah, okay.
Because you can have it's not 2 HP per turn, it's up to your full health in the turn. So you will typically have your important units at full health constantly, or trying to.
Okay.
And that causes problems with Mercia because it's really hard to save units for her groove.
So
though it can sometimes happen. You can play around it.
So at best,
yeah.
she just saves you some money.
Yes.
Okay.
And also yeah, the thing about there being higher damage does matter. Yeah, there's a lot more one shots.
Okay.
So that does hurt. She can still definitely like heal some stuff. It's also 100 and 250 is also like, it's at the point where she doesn't want to pop it for small stuff, like maybe healing a couple. Well, she almost doesn't want to pop it for small stuff like swords, but at the same time, you actually don't get better opportunities than that sometimes. Like, it's the charges also kind of holds her back. Hilariously, in the balance mod I was talking about, I think there was a discussion between Psychoia and Mastro, and Psychoia was saying Mercia would not be good even if she was the lowest possible charge at 50, 100. Like, very fast, very fast. I played with it a couple times. That is... I don't think Psychoia is fully right. She is somewhat of a problem at 50-50. You don't have to pay healing costs for the entire game, basically.
Yeah.
And that kind of demonstrates the problem with Mercia is that also speed is also kind of a problem. At the same time, I have won through Mercia as a mid-tier.
Nice.
Though I did have a bit of a slight opening advantage, but yeah. She also, another big problem with her is she has like 0 threat. She contributes no damage to a fight, and this means
right.
and
Yeah.
it's very easy commander to walk forward very safely, and your other big units as well.
Okay.
It's like yeah, not exerting threat is really bad. It's also in tournament play on 60 chess timer, commander threat is really good because like it forces you to play way safer.
Okay.
And unless you want to get randomly murdered and lose the game from a winning position.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's kind of Mercy's thing. Also, you were talking earlier about how often commander is injured. Frequently it is either dead or full health.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Sometimes you will hit them if they're like the only heavy unit in the area. Like you maybe night crit them if you're like doing like a big attack and you want to kill a bunch of other stuff. But like otherwise, you tend not to hit commander that much because commander is also a 500 cost unit for the purpose of healing. Compared to the 1200 golem, so like they are very efficient to heal off of structures.
I see. All right. So next one.
Yeah.
The twins. I completely forgot their names.
All right, Errol and Orla.
Errol and Orla. So we have B. Okay, so I put them a little too high.
Yeah. Yeah. If we smoothed out the tier list slightly, then they would basically be B tier. And I think this is like they are like top B tier. I don't think they actually break into A tier. I think there's a decent gap between them and the next.
Okay.
But like, yeah. Twins are just very consistent. Like, they can safely throw out Groove. Either tier 1 or T2. Well, specifically Scorching Fire. You basically never pop the healing Groove, ever, like T1. Cause, if Mercia isn't cutting it at 50 on a single turn, what is 20 a turn? On, like, that can also heal your enemies.
Yeah.
What's that doing? Like, there are some, like, maybe there's, like, the rare situation in which case you have, like, a fully blockaded area. And you want to, like, have your commander be, like, a frontline unit that's about to get hit is healed on the start of your next turn while you have Twin still active. Or you want the 40 health blocker. I mean, the very bulky blocker.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still, you're never popping, like, cooling water, like, ever.
Okay.
Scorching, both T1 and T2, the damage ones, are both really solid. Hilariously, T1 actually has some more applications than T2 sometimes. Because killing your own units with T1 is actually sometimes good for commander lethals. Like, Sword barely does not suicide from planes into the commander.
Oh.
But with Groove, it does. So then you basically just have a free 15 damage from the sword suiciding.
I realize I never considered that.
Yeah. So like killing your own units is actually kind of valuable in some cases.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just throwing out fire for damage is nice. It can help you pick up some kills. Like with Ryota, it just hits a couple thresholds, which is nice.
Okay.
You don't typically want to fight in it for a prolonged time, but honestly, I think it's completely fine to like fight in it for one turn, especially if you get a bunch of kills with it. Like even taking a couple of extra army damage is fine. Like it's just also this group is just very safe. It gets very consistent value. Like 4 range and then 3 radius is a lot, and yet it also makes twins incredibly safe, especially since you also have a strong blocker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just the fact that like they couldn't like hit themselves with the fire and like just that like they could start like an orb in the middle of an army or just like away from it enough where it just doesn't hit itself. I just thought was like really sick.
Yeah. I also some people like to throw it out for damage, which I think this is probably the best one to do it with. I dislike that personally, but it's still also an option with it, especially if you hit like valuable units.
Okay.
And like it prevents something like maybe like Night Crit in this game instantly decaptures a village from full health. Something like maybe like you hit the knight with this and then they can't flip econ for a turn. Something like that. There's like small temple things that can be done with that.
Okay. Arlo
and then T2.
Orla? That's their name?
Errol Orla, yeah. Errol and Orla.
Errol and Orla, okay.
Yeah, so T2 is also pretty solid because like the healing and damage means the opponent never wants to fight into it unless they get a lot of value off of it.
I see.
And it lasts for it gives you 4 ticks, and also something I mentioned this with Emeric, but I kind of forgot to mention it with twins. You can mage heal the emblem to keep it alive. So you can give it can't heal off of buildings, but you can mage heal it to give it 20 health so it decays slower.
Oh, nice.
So like you can keep a fortified position with it for a while, which is nice.
Right.
That's great.
Yeah, that sounds good. But not A tier apparently.
Yeah.
Alright, so up next we have Wulfar. Where'd I put Wulfar? There's an A here, there's an S.
Oh yeah.
There's an
Wulfar
S plus, and there's a Savant.
Yeah.
So
Wulfar got
are you giving this to me or no?
I'm gonna say no for this one.
Yeah,
that was
fair,
you're looking at the old podcast tier list for where he's Aeon.
Oh, okay.
That's where we thought he was. Then he proved we have to basically permaban him.
Okay.
Because we get 3 bans every match. So there are 2 later that are like basically uncontested top 1, 2. Wulfar and 1 other are contested top 3 of the 3rd. But then Wulfar is way harder to play against on timer.
Mm.
This is the commander lethal commander. He murders commander. He is also because bound T2 can do 100% commander damage and not leave a side in some cases, which is terrifying. Like a free 45 on commander is basically just death.
Yeah, I can imagine.
He's also very fast. 100, 200 is like very good rate, and his T1 is actually usable for bullying. It means you cannot move any heavy unit within like 4 tiles of him, because then he just murders it by golfing it onto a mountain or like similar tile.
Yeah,
it's like he just bullies early, and then he just has the threat of like murdering either commander or your army. The reason why he's better in live is because you can block his tiles. Like if you can make sure there's not holes in your army. Problem is that's very hard to calculate on timer, especially since you can just open up holes by killing stuff. Sometimes.
Do you guys have
like,
async?
The tournament was played in live, but we do have we don't have any async tournaments, I don't think.
But there's an async mode.
Yeah, there's an async mode.
Okay.
In that he's worse, but still A tier.
All right.
Considering this for like the live tournament, though.
Okay, yeah. I was thinking under the context of live as well.
Yeah. Also, Wulfar, the thing about him dealing damage to his own unit is actually an upside, in my opinion.
Because of the suicide.
It can suicide his golf ball.
Yeah. You call his golf ball.
I mean, it is a golf ball. He is teeing off.
With a treasure chest.
Yep.
Oh, S
yeah, so,
tier,
like,
S tier Wulfar, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
And also he also has absurd range. Like, he has the longest range of any commander, so like, you will not escape him.
yeah. I was thinking like, you were mentioning that it's harder to play against Wulfar live because you're gonna need to plan that. I thought it would be hard to play as Wulfar rather than the other way around. That's why I kind of dropped him at an A tier.
I think defense is harder than offense, even with some of these groups that are
Okay.
Well, in some ways, that's even harder for the defense because you have to consider all the permutations of that groove.
All right. So, anything else about Wulfar?
I think that's mostly it. It's
Okay.
just super strong damage, super fast.
All right. I'm not really proud of Elodie here.
Yeah.
So we got Elodie. You have a C, another C, another C, I guess. And this is the old one, but she is still in C, right? So that's probably super wrong about Elodie.
Yeah.
That's the one that could take units, right?
Yes. She's the contested second worst commander in the game, with Sigrid as the other contested second worst.
They look so cool!
The main problem is this is another melee commander. What you're talking about, Ryota and Ragna, is way worse for Sigrid and for Elodie.
Okay.
And also because the fact that opponents that are playing sharp are never giving you the opportunity to steal one of their good units.
Is this just like another Rhomb thing too, where they can only just like pretty much do just a single target thing?
In some ways, yes. It's more that Elodie you are typically not hitting anything important with your groove. It's like, you're only hitting one thing. If it was hitting a golem consistently, then it'd be terrifying.
Oh yeah.
But it consistently only hits like a sword or a spear.
Then you never pop it. You just have that hovering over your head. It's just like, what's gonna happen one day. You got to make sure you don't lose this thing, but it's probably easier said than done, right?
Yeah. Also, because she has to move into melee range, there's a good chance she actually dies for doing this, especially since your heavy unit is probably in your midline.
I was thinking the unit you attack, like the unit you steal can it gives you +1 unit. So I thought that might help out a little bit.
It's helpful, but
not good enough.
Also going in deep, I
see.
At the very least, she is good deterrent. Because you're not rushing into her and just giving her a free golem. Also, one of the unfortunate things is she's the only melee commander that does not have a one shot at 150 charge or below. Because her T1 is only temporary control.
Okay.
So this makes her weirdly, despite the fact that she wants to be brawly and aggro, she is effectively the slowest melee groove. Because T1 is just very low value. Except in there's one case I think T1 is actually good value is if you steal a Harpy and suicide into your opponent's mage, which is the anti-air, because that one shots it.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's the one good case. Otherwise, it's not super good. The kidnapping thing I find it funny. At the same time, that's only for infantry basically.
Okay.
And even then, that's additional steps to kill a unit that a bunch of the other melee commanders just instantly kill.
I see. So that's I'm way off of that one. 2 tiers off on average. All right, Dark Mercia. We have a B tier, a C tier, a Stalwart, and another B tier. So off again. Not as much as Elodie, but
I would say low B is
low B. Okay.
She also actually has a range problem, despite the fact that she has 3.
And global damage.
The global damage does not matter. Her tier 2 sucks.
Unfortunately.
It's Dark Mercy, honestly T1 isn't that bad, and that's why she's in B. Because she can chunk a couple of units and then get damage thresholds off of that. Problem is, it is actually possible to her range is weirdly short enough where you're on the edge of where you can space it out.
Yeah, I feel like 3 was a little short.
And she is also decently vulnerable, especially if you don't follow up and kill everything, because you just give your opponent a lot of suicides.
Yeah. So you want to kill units. You don't want to give them any chance of. Yeah, I see why this is a much sharper game now.
Yeah. And T2 doesn't matter because it's a very bad tempo loss because you need to wait till 350. that is where a bunch of the other stall CEOs are like already popping off, and a bunch of like the mid-early game commanders have already got a good advantage that they probably have snowballed against you if you're just waiting for T2. There is at least the threat of holding T1, but also like, yeah. Global damage is nice. Hilariously, it also just gives a bunch of sword suicides for like later.
So it reaches that threshold.
Yes. You need like barely like you need like a 95 sword or like 9. I think it's is it 94? It might be 94. To suicide into a commander from planes.
You're kidding me.
So yeah, this gives you more commander lethal threats. Yay!
Oh man, yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. I guess.
Also, if you do need a unit to be full health, you can technically mage heal it, though that is sometimes a waste of a turn in some ways. But yeah, like
it's a niche thing that almost wouldn't matter. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Sedge. No, Sedge. I need to stop saying Sedge. Damn it! I need to stop it. Like he's a cool guy. He's a cool guy. Okay.
Yeah.
I see why everyone likes him. Sedge, just Sedge. Yeah. Why can I say Sedge outside of recording, but not during recording? Sedge. Okay, A tier, nice. A tier. I'll take it. Right.
Yep. Right? You got pretty solidly where he was.
Yeah.
He is somewhere in A tier. I'm honestly not that sure where. A tier is kind of close, I would say, in power level.
The only reason I didn't put him S tier is because I had a feeling that like an opponent is not just gonna let him pop off like that.
I would say that's honestly not necessarily the issue. The issue is speed. He is 400 for T2. Well, I guess. So here's the thing. Sedge is one of the best stall seals in the game. Tier 2 is absolutely terrifying. You are not stopping it. Once he gets it, you are cooked unless you have a big advantage. Because you basically have a 65%. You basically have permanent minus 35% health on your entire army, and that is terrifying.
I love it.
That is like every single like one shot. There's so many one shot thresholds that come off of that. That is absolutely terrifying. That he will just tear through your entire army. And importantly, after he gets his final groove, he just walks away because he has his turn refresh on the final one. So like he's absurdly safe as well. And the range means it's very hard to deny him. Like, while Dark Mercia is kind of hard because of her range, it's still enough typically to clip units, and for Sedge that's also the case. And you just need one unit to be clipped for him to start his chain and for him to go wild. His only problem is his speed. Like, T1 is like okay. It was actually 35 damage in Wargroove 1 and got nerfed to 25 in this game.
Ooh.
Which does it doesn't miss some thresholds. It's still okay. It's not super impactful though. You'll get a couple kills off of it, but not that much. And that means typically people with stronger grooves are gonna run him over before he gets to T2. He needs to just survive. Is all he does. He needs to survive.
Speaking of thresholds, I think I also forgot to mention that I know in Wargroove 2 they got rid of the luck rolls.
Oh yeah. And then they add back in Nadia because now they want more luck.
Yeah.
yeah. But getting rid of the thresholds is nice for Sedge. Yeah. I mean, getting rid of the random luck rolls is nice for Sedge.
Okay, so Sedge is good, but just kind of slow.
Yeah. With tier 2 up, he beats every commander in the game.
Okay. Oh, nice.
Problem is getting to that.
Okay. All right. Now the one rating that genuinely breaks my heart.
Yep.
Like it does. Like I know Elodie is around the same range, but this one genuinely breaks my heart. We have Sigrid and C again, and a pitiful imbecile from Mastro. That's a Mastro's list, all right. Oh man, I think I mentioned this earlier when I brought up Rhomb and Elodie. It's just like a single target thing, right?
Yeah, it's also it's really easy to deny her actually eating something important, and that's just
same
really
with Elodie. Really hard, really easy to just deny a golem.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely sad by this.
Also, even in T1, she is in danger of dying. Even if she heals the full, she's in danger of dying in T1 once the game develops.
Okay.
T2 at least makes her invincible, but at that rate, it's 225 for like a single unit kill, and that is not a good rate.
And you just kill the rest of the army, because like you could just ignore her, and she can't do anything by herself. So.
Yes, correct.
Oh man, I'm genuinely upset about this
She's at least better than Elodie because at least she has a one shot on 150.
She looks so cool. Like,
actually, I forgot to show you her comment animation. I'll show that to you later.
Oh yeah, you show it to me later.
I find it funny.
I'm sad.
Yeah.
Like, oh man. All right, so Emeric. I forget. Emeric. Okay.
Emeric.
Emeric.
Yeah. It's like you got right letters wrong pronunciation.
Yeah, Emeric. A tier. Oh.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Nice.
Yeah, Emeric's kind of.
I was nervous about this one.
Yeah. Emeric's interesting. He's low A tier, and that's because his average map is not super strong for him. He's very map dependent. However, on his good maps, he is absolutely utterly terrifying. He still does not beat the higher tier. He does not beat the S tiers though, even on his good maps.
Emeric, right?
Yeah. So the main thing is that what you need to do with Emeric is you need to set up a T2 in an aggressive position that gets you econ, and then hold it.
Yeah.
And you need to make sure that your opponent does not switch to the other side and just murder you there.
Mm-hmm.
So Emeric wants either a small map where his range units can partially cover the other front. This is where Open Season is a small map where Sequoia pulled this off. In Wargroove 2. Sequoia is actually the Emeric guy. Also, I would consider him the Emeric guy for one as well. But yeah. He needs a small map to have his archers be able to control the map, or he needs a fast treb. Fast treb Emeric is absolutely terrifying because now you just have a permanent like grit boosted rocket in your face that does 45 damage to commander on crit.
Yeah.
On range.
Emeric,
you just can't walk near it.
Emeric combines the two things that I think are really strong in Advance Wars and Advance Wars Days of Ruin. So yeah,
Range
we mentioned grit. Yeah, just have like ball up a bunch of indirects. I think that's just to protect each other, but yeah, you just ball up a bunch of indirects and then you pop you drop the cherry stone and then you just turn into grit so long as they stay in there. And in Days
30 defense.
in Days of Ruin, there's a character called Brenner. And do you know Days of Ruin at all?
Oh yeah, I also watched your
ranking video. Yeah. So for anyone who doesn't know, Days of Ruin technically has commanders, but you can only board them within another unit, and that just costs half the unit price. But Brenner gives himself and all other units around him like 30% defense in like a 3 zone radius. It's not as defense isn't as strong in Days of Ruin as it is in Advance Wars by Web, but Brenner is one of the best characters in Days of Ruin because of how strong defense is, and if you have like all those units just bunched up together, it's going to be really hard to break through. So yeah, he just basically combined Grit and Brenner, which are I consider two very strong commanders in their respective games.
Yeah. It is super difficult to wall break Emeric. A lot of your 2 shots become 3 shots.
Yeah,
and hilariously, Balloon is super durable now. Because it takes 105 from mage, so like your T-copters are now surviving a mage hit.
Wow.
And it actually survives an archer hit plus a mage hit, which is hilarious. So yeah, just cool. You can't move through this. You can't move through this T-chopper now.
Okay. Yeah, it's just and I think in Advance Wars 2, if there's like no comm tower, if you play as Eagle, you get a little bit of defense from your air unit. You just have a copter go in there and just gonna survive at like 1 HP, and you're like, are you serious? And it's like, yeah, it's at 1 HP. I could still fully function. I just die a lot easier.
I think, if I remember correctly, I think there's actually, I don't think there's a one-shot on sword from a single side with as long as they're on mountain.
Okay. So
like that's terrifying.
That is terrifying.
Like all your swords on planes, they just live.
Just stack some defense on it, and
even getting faced with a bomber, your infantry lives.
Yeah. All right.
That's terrifying for walling.
Yep, Emeric. I was nervous about this rating, but I got it, and I'm glad I did.
Emeric requires playing very sharp because
absolutely, because like you're not just gonna put Emeric like just in the middle of nowhere and just like plop it, and it's like, what's it gonna do?
Yeah.
There's obviously some kind of planning that you need to set up for if you're gonna put like an aura on a map. It's not easy to do, but if you know how to do it and you do it right, it can be pretty strong.
So actually, Emeric got hit by I will say Emeric got hit by actually a decent nerf before the tournament started.
What did they do?
He was previously medium fast. He is now medium slow.
Okay, so that's a respectable nerf.
Yeah. Yeah. The reason why this is super important is because previously you would have to probably use Groove to break his formation and kill the crystal.
Okay.
Problem was he got crystal back before you cycle to your next groove.
Yikes.
And then you're like, okay, what do I do now?
Yeah, exactly.
You have to break through an Emeric formation basically at least once without using a groove, and against a good sharp player, that's not happening.
So it sounds like a fair nerf then.
Yeah, with his speed nerf now, there is an actual window where he is vulnerable, and that means he is a lot more fair.
And that's what I guess that's what most characters need. Like if they have something, there's got to be some kind of window, or else they're just unbeatable.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're moving on to my S tiers. Pistil. S tier, S plus, Savant Logician. So nice.
Yeah,
I was
debatably
also nervous about this one.
Yeah. Pistil is debatably the top one commander in the game.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The main thing that is difficult about Pistil is it's very difficult to wall against her because you can't blob up at all.
That was my that was my thought exactly.
This is also very rough to do on timer.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you also have to remember that she can also connect your army with her own units.
Oh!
Right, because she can hit her own units with her groove. So you can just move your units in, connect the chain, and then zap them despite the fact that they had holes.
Oh, okay.
Which is terrifying.
Even if you're even she's like 2 tiles away, she can just wow.
She can start the chain off her own units, yeah. This allows her to also be a bit safer. One thing is though, T1 kinda has a problem. T1 does need to be kind of popped on an enemy unit, point blank.
Okay.
Because the decay is kind of a bit harsh. Yeah. 20 at 20.
Mm-hmm.
On T2, the decay is low enough that you can start on maybe a 1 soldier, 2 soldier chain away, and then still be completely fine after.
Okay.
Pistil just nukes your army, and it's also on slow fast, which is at 225, which is honestly slightly above rate for charge speed. So it's not like she's even waiting a while for this. It's she doesn't really have a good punishable window.
Okay. So she's almost like a better AoE in a way.
Yeah, she is the strongest AoE in the game.
Yeah, it's technically an AoE, but it's hitting where you want to hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that was the wall thing was exactly why I wanted to put her at S tier, because how do you defend against that?
Yeah, you have to put holes somewhere in your army, and that means you have 2 sides open somewhere.
Exactly, and even then, if she could just completely destroy one unit, then she could just pour in another unit of hers, and then you just start the chain.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a bit strong.
All right.
I think Mastro puts Pistil below Vesper, who is spoiler alert, the other top contender.
Oh.
I think because Pistil has some counterplay, even if it's super rough on timer. But we'll get to Vesper later.
Okay, all right. Up next, Koji. A tier, A tier, A tier. Yeah, I am one off this one.
Yeah, Koji's more bottom of A tier.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Spirit Bombs are nice. The 100 burst is solid, though honestly not amazing for 200. It can definitely kill a couple units. I guess the thing to consider is that this is basically the same damage as Ragna's T2, though safer, which is nice. But at the same time, it's not the most impactful, especially when you scale the big armies. Koji is very terrifying at killing commanders. Because that's a free 100 damage that does not take up a side, and there's almost no condition to actually use it on a commander. Unlike Wulfar, who needs some positioning, but yeah, Koji is very lethal focused. It's very terrifying on that sense. And tier 2 is the most focused damage you're getting on a commander. That's something 67 commander damage by itself, which is terrifying.
Very.
And it can also open up sides as well, because instead of directly detonating on the commander, you can push units into the commander to deal damage to them. So it can also clear a side and deal damage to commander. Something that happened in Wargroove 1 that doesn't really happen in Wargroove 2 as much is you could stack bombs. By like throwing down bombs, charging another groove, throwing down bombs, and just waiting for the opponent to never run in because you just blow them up with 4 bombs.
It's like,
I think that's yeah, and that's what actually got. I think Koji got banned from Wargroove 1 competitive because of that.
Ooh.
Because also in Wargroove 1, his bombs had the same durability as his T2 bombs now, I think. So they didn't die to one shot.
Okay.
Which is important.
Yeah, I thought that like since the bombs like detonate themselves, it keeps that open space for you.
Yeah. Also another funny thing is waiting a turn with the bombs and having Koji and the bombs attack at the same time, so you have 200% commander damage, which is terrifying.
Yeah.
So, so that's the thing about. Yeah, that's. I also don't see people walling with it that much because I mean, yeah, it takes 90 damage. That's a lot. It's fine to heal it, but it's a lot. And also, Witch, is a unit that, as I was saying earlier, can hex for 10 flat damage, which can help with that as well. But yeah.
Okay, so Koji is up there, but not with Pistil.
Yeah.
All right. So Tenri, A, B. So just one off again.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. This is interesting. This is I think this is one of the main commanders that got moved during the tournament.
Okay.
I think Sequoia played this during finals. Tenri during finals. Tenri is also kind of weird because she only affects 1 unit.
Okay.
A thing is, she is the best person at affecting 1 unit.
Yeah,
that's 5 range.
My thoughts exactly. It's like it's only 1, range. But it's a good one.
Yep. I mean, like, you ever tech up, delete the units. I can move my unit to snipe another unit. Gone. Tenri just snipes your important units, and that either requires you to like back up so severely far that you're just conceding too much ground, or you need to have duplicity and like stuff like having multiple mages so you don't get overwhelmed by your air, stuff like that. And also, she's like really good at playing the tech up game because she gets her golem. If she gets a golem around the same time as the opponent, you're still like after popping groove, you're 1 golem to 0.
Yeah,
that's also strong. So like killing opponent's tech up units is really nice.
So is it just that she can only move one thing? Her problem?
Yeah, it does not scale. It does not scale super late game super well.
What if she could move 2 units with her tier 2?
Interesting.
Write that down.
That'd also be kind of solid. Yeah. Tier 2 right now is not popped that much.
Oh,
mainly because you want to pop T1 off cooldown.
Okay.
You want to pop T1 as fast as possible. Because like you only get 1 unit either way, even with the push and damage. That's only really useful, I would say, in cases where you're trying to suicide something on commander. Because normally you're either pulling a unit inside your formation to kill it, or you're putting a unit next to their formation to kill something of theirs. Which that would help with the shockwave. But also one of the common things that Tenri likes to groove is Knight. Because she can customize where it starts, so it always gets a crit. Unfortunately, that means she's not going to start the unit right next to the opponent's formation. Typically, that is always hilarious to me. That will always be hilarious to me. Just a knight just getting knight crits just out of nowhere. Knight crit is also the highest damage that can be dealt to commander, tied with dragon crit at 45 and commander hit. So like knight crit is really important for getting commander kills, and this makes it very dangerous because you can have a knight that's on the other side of the map. Tenri just grooves it over, and you just get assassinated by it. Like Tenri has a lot of good threat against commander and heavy units. I see. But yeah, I also really love her design. Tenri's really pretty. Yeah. All right. Yeah, respectable CO, even though she's not S tier. I see the problem, but I still think she's pretty strong. She's another commander where you have a lot of threats, so you have to play careful around her on timer.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, up next we have Zawan. S tier, not S plus according to this tier list?
Sequoia.
Okay, S tier, Savant, and all right, S tier. Yay!
Yeah.
It's like where can you go wrong with this one? I think that's the only thing that we could talk
Zawan,
about. Where can you go wrong with Zawan?
Zawan was one of the best grooves for army fighting in the game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I think I specifically used the word warp with Zawan rather than like the other ones because I feel like it impacts the game that much.
Yeah, imagine if you threw down this like 5 tanks without ammo into the front line.
No. Just drop pipe seams.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually, no. They can take damage, but yeah, you're just like dropping tanks.
Pipe seams are a bit,
and
pipe seams are a bit more durable, I think. But regardless, this comparison is how.
And they deal damage when you pop them out next to an enemy.
Oh yeah, on tier 2, yeah.
Yeah, it's like
that's also one of the terrifying things. Yeah, tier 2, you can't ignore the vines at all. You need to kill them.
Exactly.
They deal good damage.
They're just like +5 units. They're like
And like the fact that they're also super durable, they don't go down in one shot to anything on planes besides Treb Crit, which you're never building Treb in like most Wargroove games, because like
watch me.
A lot of maps intentionally nerf Treb just to prevent stally games by like making it have worse terrain, getting out of racks. It's like because you don't want Treb stall fest because that just doesn't feel fun.
I mean, in the live game, you might get bored. Who knows? But yeah, it's really hard to go wrong with Zawan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, vines are just super durable. Like it's also like 8 range is also a lot. You can like possibly throw this onto the second front if Zawan is centralized.
Oh yeah, that's right. 8 range that's insane. You can cut off reinforcements.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
There's a lot of possibilities with Zawan.
Yeah, he's also one of the characters who has like a good tier 1 and T2.
Yeah.
Tier 1 is I would say a tier 2 is pop more commonly, but tier 1 is good if you get like a couple kills with like say like a dragon or a golem.
Exactly.
And you just toss it in front to protect them and force the opponent to commit way more to actually hit it.
Yeah.
It's also Zawan is also very hilarious for trapping commander a lot. You cannot overextend commander. They need to have some units adjacent to create an escape path, otherwise they just die.
I see. Alright, so anything else?
I think that's mostly it for Zawan.
Okay, alright. So now Vesper.
Yep.
Oh boy. The half fog equivalent commander and oh yeah, that's right. We didn't look at the other ones. Oh yeah, S tier, S plus for her and Savant Legend. Nice. Another S tier.
Yeah. Vesper is very convincingly top 2. I mean, she is undebatably top 2. Top 1 is debatable, but regardless, she is super strong. Because it's effectively a free turn.
Yeah.
Like
like you can just
basically the same thing as
have that whole blob of units, and you're like, all right, I'm just gonna put a shield around them.
Yeah. It's
Good luck.
Like it's basically saying popping a samurai spirit and like, okay, you can't hit me this turn.
All right, a samurai spirit. That's right.
And it's like, okay, cool. Try and hit my units this turn. See how well that ends up. Well, in Vesper's case, you physically can't.
It's just like, all right, well, next turn, I'm gonna have some fun.
Yep.
That's how I imagine Vesper.
Yeah. You just have to. Yeah. Vesper will typically pop and get a couple. You'll get a couple kills, pop and make your units safe. This also she's also one of the better commanders with Dragon, because like I mean like our bomber equivalent, because like. Yeah, you could just toss this in front of like a mage or something, and like it'd be completely fine.
You're like, good luck.
Yeah, and Dragon's really good for one-shotting stuff. It one-shots so many units. It does like also like basically full damage, almost completely one-shots a tank, like basically like an actual like AW bomber. Like
yeah.
It's just very solid. I mean, like free turn is free turn, and also like you have to back off after she pops it. Like otherwise, you're gonna get melted on your.
You're just letting her attack you the next turn if you just don't even worry about it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It also it commands so much presence, even if you don't pop it, just as a threat. Because you can't expose like any amount of like if you say you like give her like 4 kills, like she can just pop groove, get a lot of tempo off that as well. Like even if it's smaller stuff, she gets both the tempo off the unit kills and the space for like economy as well. Like it's also on 200, which is like on like slightly above rate for like the good T2s, and like her T1 is stronger than a bunch of T2s. As for her T2, yeah, you're basically never popping it.
Yeah.
It's a similar situation like Tenri and Nuru, where you pop it only if your opponent respects your groove so much that you never get a good opportunity to do so.
Yeah. It also feels like the clones are like a waste of space a little bit.
They're fine. Having a bunch of commander strength units is good. Problem is, yeah, you just want 2 smoke shrouds.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Finally, only at the very end because you gave me him first. Caesar, the Fire Emblem 4 dancer, I guess. That's the right comparison. S tier. A tier. A tier, a virtuoso tactician. Okay, are you giving me this one?
This one... I'll give you this one.
Yay!
I would say he's more high A, but at the same time he's so close to bordering it that I'll give you it.
Okay.
Also, this is specifically for live.
Yes.
In async, he is S tier.
Okay, that makes sense.
Cause yeah, this is the other super strong stall commander along with Sedge. Caesar's advantage is that unlike Sedge, he has a very threatening T1. Inspire, like T1 Inspire, even though it only dances 4 units, that's still super threatening. That gets you if the opponent doesn't respect it, it gets you a bunch of kills.
I mean, it's insane in Fire Emblem 4.
Yeah.
So most of the other games, like they just have a dancer that just does 1, and even then that's pretty strong. So just having like I said, like +4, or even like what was the other one? Like +12?
Yeah, if +12.
Yeah, if you have like a perfect diamond, you just get +12, and
yeah,
I can't imagine what a player could possibly do with 12 units that just refresh there.
Also, something important with Caesar is the reason why I showed you all the infantry units is something noticeable is that infantry can basically do every single type of unit except for golems.
Okay.
They basically have one-shots or near one-shots against literally every unit type.
All right.
Mainly because of spears. It's like a spear crit is absolutely terrifying because it basically one-shots like almost everything besides like a golem. And because you have +2 movement on them, they are getting in for that hit.
Yeah.
And since you're blobbing up with like a lot of units as well, they're also going to be triggering their crit like every single time.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's like even if you can't attack, you're just setting up crits too.
Yeah, they're one of the easiest crit conditions to fulfill.
Yeah.
Be adjacent to each other.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
The goodest
Caesar's
boy.
biggest problem is like, again with like Sedge, is like people, basically the other people in S, just killing him before he gets to T2 or like getting too much of an advantage. Because if opponent gets golem advantage, Caesar can still struggle. Even if you dance 12 and get like a bunch of kills, he can sometimes struggle if you've already taken eco and like gotten golem advantage for too long. So that's his only reason why he's like in A. Also because he's pretty difficult to stall is a bit harder to play on timer. And so that's kind of the reason why he's in A for like specifically live.
Okay.
But yeah, like it is super impactful, it's super strong. It just
right.
gives you so much tempo on that one turn that you basically just win if you're like even like close to the same, like basically the same thing as like lightning strike.
Okay.
If you're even like close to like even, it just seals the game for you.
I see. All right. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being amazing, how would you say my rating is?
I would say an 8. You got a lot of the good commanders in close or good spots, and you also explained a lot of where the commanders should be correctly, I would say.
Yay!
Yeah, did pretty well.
All right, I can't wait to get my ass kicked in this game. Even though I have this like close to correct guessing knowledge and like logic of how like most strategy games are played, executing it myself might be a problem, but I'll take an 8 out of 10. I'm happy with an 8 out of 10. All these crit mechanics and all these things that you've showed me, I really love the nuance. I really love the complexity. I did want to play Wargroove when it first came out, but I think I just had like a time issue at that time.
Yeah,
I do have Wargroove 1 on my computer, and I do plan to play it one day. Wargroove 2, I definitely want to get at some point once I start saving up a little money for myself. I am trying to expand on on games. Like we mentioned Magic. I have Magic on my computer. We'll see one day. Well, this might not be your last time here. But yeah, I'm still very sad about Sigrid.
Yeah, I think a lot of newer players rank Sigrid super high, and then they realize it. And then once you get to people that are playing super sharp, super competitive, you realize you just don't get good grooves with her.
I might just main Sigrid just to spite the community. She looks really cool. But yeah,
there's another player who was playing Mercia basically exclusively.
Oh, interesting. Mercia man.
Their name is Warble. They came in third during the championship.
Oh, nice.
So I think they're mainly playing Mercia to get good fundamentals down.
Mercia man sounds hilarious. We have Grim Guy, and now we have Mercia man, and we have I don't know, Sigrid Simp. I guess that's me. I don't know.
Gotta get the Batgirl.
Yeah. Batgirl, not Catgirl. Okay.
I need to show you what her attack animation is.
Now I gotta rearrange my screen again.
Okay, actually, no. I guess you can.
No. I was just saying as a joke. You can show it to me now. I'm not cutting any of this out. Like, yeah, this is what I went through, guys. You can. You guys will see. Actually, no. I have like a screen capture setting. Yeah. So screen. Yeah, you could pull up your. Yeah, I gotta see this. I don't have my face cam up.
Oh.
Here we go. Alright, so what does it look like?
Okay, so what I find this kind of funny about this is... Oh, wait. Hold on, let's make sure she heals first so she doesn't immediately die using it.
Please don't.
I completely forgot I set her on 10% at the start of the match.
If you did that just to spite me, Oh, I forgot she just levitates.
She just like very casually just smacks the opponent. Just like magically slaps the opponent.
Wait, that looks cooler. the Emeric just looks kind of cooler, but
I think I like all the.
Oh my god, I love it so much. She just goes.
She just casually magically backhands the opponent.
She's my favorite character. Oh, I don't care how bad she is. She's now my favorite character.
Yeah.
That's not my favorite character.
Wait, hold on. Maybe I can hold on. Where is the jukebox? I guess we want to listen to theme.
She's dancing. Oh, I love this.
Yeah, I like the music in Wargroove a lot. You can also listen to a Wargroove 1 theme. I like it as well. I think I like it slightly better.
Okay. Yeah, no, I understand. There's like older versions of the theme song that just that dancing animation is so adorable.
Yeah, I find hold on.
Look at it.
I think that's the Peanuts dance, right?
The what?
Dance from Peanuts, right? What's
the Peanuts dance? Oh yeah, the Peanuts dance. Yeah.
Okay.
It does. What is?
What?
There's just a guy with a jukebox.
Right. Yeah, this is the default. Okay.
I just love how he just goes. Oh, that sword dancing is actually kind of cool. It looks like an actual training session. All right, guys and gals, that was. I'll take an 8 out of 10. You know, I'm still heartbroken about Sigrid, but I'm so sorry. I'm sticking on Sigrid so much, but I got an 8 out of 10. I got 1 off on a few things, and I was pretty right on everything else. You said that like also some of the reasonings I said was also spot on.
Yeah, stuff like Ragna being unsafe when jumping and stuff like that.
And yeah, and like Ryota just like blade dashing like in an awkward spot when he finishes. But yeah, I can't believe I actually got this close. I thought I was actually going to completely fumble this, but
yeah, you got pretty close.
Yeah, I'm pretty close. I'm really glad.
How much do you think my demonstrations of them helped?
Oh no, they were impressive. I think like visually, like showing me what some of the things do, like just instead of just like trying to put every scenario in my head, like I was putting a lot of like massive blob on blob wall fights on my head. I think demonstrating them just like really gave me like a better picture of what something is supposed to look like, especially with the crits and how like easy some of them actually are. And everyone who's told me that like that Wargroove is more sharp than Advanced Wars, it's clear to me now. Like there's a lot of other mini things to consider when you're playing, because like there's one move that you can do wrong and it could end the game from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sparky, thank you so much for your time and your demonstrations. I think
Thanks for having me.
I think not just for me, but I think this could also open up Wargroove to possibly a lot more people. If there are people out there that really like technicality, like people who like to think more, this is definitely a game I think they might be interested in trying. And you guys have your own tournaments, which is really cool. I just love these kind of tournaments. I love competition. I love doing commentary. So hopefully I get the chance to possibly commentate Wargroove one day. No, but we'll see. But
join me on commentary at one point.
Oh yeah, we could do that definitely. So is there anything that you would like to add, Sparky, before we call it off?
I just want to say thanks for having me on. This was really fun. And play Wargroove, people, and Advanced Wars. Gotta give the love to our tactics games.
Strategy games, yes. I know Warside is like currently having a demo.
There's actually there's another tactics game that I've gotten into recently.
Yeah, I want to start finding other tactics players and make similar videos with them like this, because doing these rating videos is really fun.
Yeah.
But I think that's gonna do it. We have been here for a long time. Guys and gals, I am Advanced Warrior. This has been Sparky. You all have my warmest regards. Please take care.